What's up, everyone? We're back again this week for our must have comic books for the week of July 24th, I believe it is. And that is the most gigantic, enormous, super duper huge comic book load of books ever to come out on a week of July. It is insane the amount of books that are coming out. And I don't even have all of them. But we got some really, really good stuff coming out. But before we get into that, got some Immortal Hulk news. Number 25, which is coming out in October, will be a double-sized issue by Al Ewing, German Garcia, and Joe Bennett also. And Alex Ross had posted the cover up on his Instagram, and it is astounding. Part of the solicitation, Marvel had put that you have never read an Incredible Hulk or a Marvel comic ever like this. The Hulk is finally dead. Billions of years later, the ninth cosmos cowers before the breaker of worlds. And I'll just put this little snippet in. I really don't do this too much, but I guess we all should pitch in since Jim Comics is gone. The first world breaker was in the end of the Planet Hulk storyline, and that was the Incredible Hulk 105, which came out in 2007. And also coming out in October, very close to Halloween, Beware the Ghost Rider #1, and that is by Ed Brisson and Aaron Kuder, who is one of Marvel's young guns. So we're looking forward to that. And one more book that's coming out, and it's I think it's coming out from Boom Studios. It's called Once and Future, and it's about evil breaks into the world, etc., etc. But the storyline is similar to a television show I used to watch called Grimm. And an old monster hunter has to come out of retirement and pull her nephew into the fight. And he has no idea what's going on. Very similar to Grimm, even though Grimm went with the Grimm's fairy tales and such like that. But it really looks like a great book coming out from Boom Studios. And that's coming out in August. And Once and Future, it's called. And it's by Kieran Gillian and Dan Mora, who has been all over the place doing covers and stuff like that. So without any further ado, we're going to get into these books, which is really, really nice haul of books coming out this week. And some of this stuff you definitely don't want to miss because eBay will be straight jacking your pocketbook. So we're going to start off with DC Comics, Action Comics 1013 by Brian Michael Bendis and Szymon Kudranski. Jamal Campbell, staying busy, is doing cover A. And Frank Quietly is giving us our Lex Luthor Villain of the Year cover. Batgirl 27 by Marguerite Scott and Paul Pelletier. Cover A is by Giuseppe Camicoli, and cover B is by Joshua Middleton. And I have to get caught up on Batgirl because I have no idea who this villain is that's on the cover. Big book of the week, Batman Curse of the White Knight #1. It's a Black Label book, and it is the sequel to Batman White Knight. This has 2 covers. It is written and drawn, and all covers are done by Sean Murphy. That is a AAA must-have book right there. Detective Comics 1008 by Peter Tomasi and Doug Mahnke. Cover A is done by Mahnke, and cover B is being done by Brian Hitch. The end of the Flash Year 1 storyline is here in Flash 75 by Joshua Williamson and Howard Porter. Howard Porter is doing cover A, and Francis Manipool is doing cover B. And this has been one of the best books in the last couple of months that DC has put out. Freedom Fighters number 7, and I have no information on that, but I've been grabbing it, so there you have it. Terrifics number 18 by Jean Louis Yang and Steven Segovia. Cover A is by Dan Mora, and cover B is by Riccardo Federici. Wonder Woman 75, a lot of big books in the 75-50 range this month. Is by Wonder Woman 75 is by G. Willow Wilson and Jesus Morano. Terry Dodson is doing cover A, and Jenny Frison, of course, has our cover B. And that is it for DC Comics. Image Comics, we have a few books here. Got Ascender number 4 by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nugent. Great sci-fi turned into fantasy book. Another must-have, I would say, definitely. Middle West number 9, by Scotty Young and George Corona. And another great book, and a big book this week, Skyward number 15 by Joe Henderson and Lee Garbett. And that is the last issue of that book. So you can either grab it or you can wait for the trade paperback. Our indie books for this week, we're looking at A Walk Through Hell number 12 by Garth Ennis and Goran Sudzuka, and Bone Parish 11 by Cullen Bunn and Jonas Scarf. Next up, we have Marvel Comics. We have The Amazing Spider-Man number 26 by Nick Spencer and Kev Walker. Cover A is by Ryan Otley, and cover B is an incentive cover by Ron Garney. And I think that cover is going for about $12 to $15. New book from Marvel, Fearless number 1. And this book highlights the women superheroes, I believe. And this is by Shonen McGuire and Claire Rowe. We have 3 covers here. Cover A is wonderful cover by Yasmin Putri. Cover B is by Jenny Frison, and cover C is by Jen Bartel. And as you can see, all the covers are done by women. Guardians of the Galaxy number 7, hot book by Donnie Cates and Jeff Shaw. Cover A is by David McGuire, and cover B is a Giuseppe Camacoli Carnage cover. Big book of the week, and I don't just mean that it's important, but it's probably in size also. The History of the Marvel Universe number 1 by Mark Wade and Javier Rodriguez. Cover A that I have is done by Steve McNiven. B is by Javier Rodriguez, and C, which I think is a ratio variant or some such, is by Nick Bradshaw. Maybe one of the most important books this week, House of X number 1. Of course, everybody knows because it's been being talked about all over the place, by Jonathan Hickman and Pepe Larraz, one of my favorites. Yeah. Cover A is by Pepe Larraz. Cover B is by Humberto Ramos. Cover C that I have is by Scotty Young. And then we have the connecting cover by Mark Brooks. We have, I believe, this is the 1 in 50 variant of Rogue and Gambit by Joe Madureira. And we have an incentive cover, which is cover A, but it's like washed out colors on it. And cover G is a blank drawing cover, which is on my list. Let's hope it lives up to the hype. The Magnificent Miss Marvel, I never put her on my list, but in this issue, she gets a new outfit. Well, a redesign a little bit. It's The Magnificent Miss Marvel number 9 by Saladin Ahmed and Mikuyo Jung. It's a mouthful. The End of Marvels, and a new book for the Marvel Saga. This is the epilogue by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. This has maybe 4 or 5 covers. I'm only showing cover A by Alex Ross and my cover B, which is the Scotty Young cover. Secret Warps, Arachnite Annual number 1. Excuse me. This is by Al Ewing, Jim Zub, and Carlos Vila and Carlo Barberi. Carlos Gomez, is doing cover A, and Carlos Pacheco is doing the connecting cover for cover B. Star Wars number 69 by Greg Pak and Phil Noto. And Phil Noto is doing cover A, and cover B is a toy variant, and I never put the toy variants because they're just pretty much a picture of the box or whatever. But this is the droid on Jabba the Hutt's barge that said, "You're a feisty little one, but you'll soon learn some respect." I don't know how I remembered that stupid droid, but that's the droid that's on the cover. Big number one book coming from Marvel this week, Jane Foster Valkyrie number 1 by Jason Aaron and art by Kafu. Cover A is by Mahad Asur. Cover B is by Megan Hetrick. We got an incentive cover, which is really, really nice, by Russell Dodderman. And cover D is also a ratio variant by Terry Dodson, coming out of War of the Realms. And that's it for our books this week. What do we have here? For the covers of the week, looking at Valkyrie number 1. That is the Russell Dodderman cover. Very nice. Marvel's Epilogue number 1, the Alex Ross cover. And Fearless number 1, the Yasmin Putri cover, which is a really astounding picture of Captain Marvel. And of course, it wouldn't be a week without the House of X, the Joe Mad cover of Rogue and Gambit. And for my number 1 cover of the week, it is Batman Curse of the White Knight number 1 by Sean Murphy, and that is cover B. For our books of the week, I picked 3. The first one is House of X by Jonathan Hickman and Pepe Larraz. It's supposed to be a big deal, so we'll make it a big deal. Skyward number 15, which is the end of this series by Henderson and Garbett. And it's been a really good book, and we hope to see what these guys have for us in the future. And the number 1 book of this week is Batman Curse of the White Knight, written and directed and drawn by Sean Murphy, the most highly anticipated sequel to Batman White Knight. So glad we got through that this week. So you guys take care, and I hope you get all the books that you have a desire for. And all of us who get previews, watch the things that are in preview, because sometimes you get a heads up of what might be kind of snuck in, and it will be not just the beginning of what books may be coming out, but also you might see what's ending. So until next time, I will catch you at the same bad time, at the same bad channel. Peace.